Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome to SML Total Access. I am Primetime 000, joined by Matt and Dan. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. It's 2026.
Yeah, new year, let's go.
Yeah, new year, new me. Let's talk about it. First down on the show. Maybe an emotional topic, as a legend, QP has been struggling lately. Maybe not what he used to be, is what a lot of people are saying, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, speaking of new me, this is a new QP. I don't really know where to start because it's hard for me. It's kind of like LeBron, right? It's like he's starting to father time, starting to get to the guy. Finally, he's played like 3 careers in minutes, but it's hard to accept because you've seen the greatness for so long that you just assume it's still there, and that's how I feel with QP. Look, some of you guys don't know him, but he was the alpha competitor to Prime and Dan in those glory years, and he comes into the league, and God, could he get a better scenario? He's got the second best roster in the league, overall wise. He's got the best ability in the league. He's got a 99 speed receiver, which, you know, for the most part, those aren't handed out like candy. They kind of tone speed down a little bit in the real players, but not the created ones. And this is a Madden that doesn't have a pass rush. Defense is almost impossible. How is he with this team and set feet lead and that quarterback, Mahomes? How is he so... He's not bad, but he's just meh. He's just another guy. He's a jag. Just another guy. Sitting at 6-4, really losing to guys he shouldn't lose to. MMX, he lost to Stavo. I know Stavo's a good player, but he should be winning these games. I'm not going to say he's cooked, but this is a bad look because he should be accustomed to the game, accustomed to the team, and he couldn't have. I don't think there's actually. I'm going to say this: I think the Chiefs were the best fit for him, and he's not getting it done. So I think he's close to being cooked.
Wow, Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not ready to make bold statements here. It sounds like kind of like a New Year's resolution. Like I'm gonna, fix my finances and lose all this weight, and then 2 weeks later you're going to be backtracking on this. So I'm not ready to write them off. What I am ready to acknowledge, I think we've seen it now across the board, is it takes time. I know Matt said it as well too, and he thinks the time should already been up because he's played I think now maybe 2 full seasons.
Yeah.
But the learning curve for where he started and what he missed out throughout August, throughout September. So much is learned in that time, so much kind of the nuances of how the game plays, what little things are a little bit different, angles, blocks. Now we got play sheets, we got coaching abilities. And Q has a unique style, a little bit kind of like I do, where he wants his team to play a certain way, and it just might not be that good for this kind of game. I don't think set feet lead is that big of a deal this year. I haven't noticed it whenever I played the Bengals or played Fig, just played Q. I played Q before. I've played Tug. I don't notice it as a big deal, so I don't think that matters much. The fact is, he still has a lot to do with that team. That team was not in a great spot, even though Matt talks about the 99 speed receiver, Mahomes. Mahomes is nothing. He's just another guy, Nothing special. Worthy obviously is good, but then he had to rebuild a lot of things. So give it some time. I think he will be fine. Will he be back up with the elites? I think yes, but not this season, maybe not even next. But give it the back half of the cycle, he'll be back.
I don't know if you can say Mahomes is just another guy. I mean, he does have the best ability in the game.
That's not the best ability in the game anymore.
Passing.
It is.
No, it's not. How would you prove that? How would you prove that?
Well, your point is that Fig isn't great with set feet lead. That does nothing for me.
Tug? What has Tug done with set feet lead?
What has he done without it?
What has Tug ever done in his life? I mean, he counts Advil.
Tug's been a good player.
He's got set feet lead.
What has Straw done?
He's made the AFC Championship game.
No, he didn't. No,
AFC Divisional game. He had the number 1 seed once or twice. Number 1 seed. That's pretty good.
and lost both times. Missed the playoffs last season. Like it's not as big as you want to make it to be.
It's for QP. I'll say this, and when I wrote this topic, I'm not here to say that QP is done for. I'm not sticking a fork in QP. I actually, here's the thing. Matt made the LeBron comparison, and I was actually going to make the same comparison. I watch Lakers games, and I see LeBron practicing his golf swing on the bench. I look at QP during his games, and I see him mixing cologne bottles. I don't know, man. I still see the line. I think the line's in there, but he's gonna dig deep to find it again, and it's hard. There's these new racers. He's Lightning McQueen, and Jackson Storm is lapping him right now. So he's gonna have to step up. I still think he has a raw talent. I think he's gonna have to dig deep, and he's gonna have to adapt his game style a little bit. Because last cycle, if you remember, when he was successful, he had adapted some. He wasn't the flashy passer that he was in previous years. What did he do a lot? He ran the ball, remember? A lot of strong formation pistol runs, a lot of under center, take the check down. And I think he's trying to do some of that right now. And I think QP needs to almost become more of what he was a few years ago when he was one of the top passers in the league. And I think he needs to utilize set feet lead more. It's a great ability. Mahomes can throw on the run. I know Dan doesn't think so, but I still think it's one of the top 5 abilities in the game because most abilities don't work as good as they used to. I think that Q with the 99 speed receiver doesn't utilize him enough. And if he could kind of figure those things out, he'll be fine. The problem is, and we'll talk about this soon, his division actually is kind of tough. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, his team's 91 overall. Let's not act like he needs to build this team up at all. It's a 91 overall team. It's the second best roster in the league. And set feet lead, when I played Fig, I sat back in my chair, I was reading a book like I normally do, and then all of a sudden he threw that first pass with Herbert, and I put the book down, and I had to sit straight up and lean forward because that ball got there fast. Set feet lead isn't what it used to be. It's not the glory days of turn your monitor off and play the game, but it's still, in my opinion, the best. The velocity on the ball is unheard of. It makes Joe Burrow a usable quarterback.
Yep.
Joe Burrow doesn't get on the field without set feet lead. That's how good it is.
Yeah. I think the only thing you guys have said that is worth valid, and I think Q needs to take it to heart, is what Prime just said about he needs to go back and he needs to air it out. This Madden is welcoming guys to take risks, to be gunslingers. I think you can look at just even what I've done over the last 2 seasons, never been a passer and now starting to pass, lead the league in passings kind of stuff. So I think Q embraces that a little bit more, embraces a little bit more of that swashbuckler, suave kind of, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to wow people. I do think that'll be an improvement for where he's at now.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. We'll see. I still believe in Q. Let that be on record. I'd like to see Q beat Soda in a few weeks, man. That'll be fun. I'll be watching that game. Let's move on. Second down. Raider fan. Technically should be unbeaten right now. He had the little quit game situation where he should have got the force win, blah, 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 blah. Technical loss because of it. What's your guys' thoughts, Dan?
This is where I want to kind of go with this. I'm going to put this out there. Is Raider fan this cycle's dump Stavo? The guy that just puts it together and makes some runs. We saw him, make a run last AFC, fizzled out big time in the Super Bowl. We're not gonna downplay that. That was a bad performance, but he's bounced back and basically gone undefeated so far. And he's putting an offense together now, which he didn't have prior. I think in my game that he actually beat me. I think he had 3 yards of offense in the second half. Prime completely shut down his offense and did nothing. So is he putting an offense together to go with that unique cover 4 defense? Could this propel him into a Stavo dump kind of run for the cycle where he gets back to the Super Bowl, the Lombardi? Was that not a fluke, but a coming out party? And I think we got to take notice to that. I think guys got to start circling his games and see it as a test to see where you are, not him testing us against where he is. But now I think the league needs to look, say, oh, I got Raider fan on the schedule. I need to see where I stand. Can I be one of the top guys in the AFC? And I joked about at the end of last season that who left the back door open for Raider fan. Well, I should have been saying, well, Raider fan busted through the front door, grabbed KP, threw him out of the room, and said, "I'm sitting at the AFC table now," and Raider fan is here to stay.
Wow, Matt.
Well, first off, with the whole technical loss and the this game sucks. That's just terrible. It shouldn't happen. If it does happen, commissioner should be able to override a result. But what I will say about Raider fan, he took it like a champ. Guy takes everything like a champ. So hats off to him. I'm not sure that every single person that's ever been in this league would have taken it as well. But to Dan's point, is he the next Dump? Well, Dump had the Bengals, got like 6,000 devs, and had set feet lead. Stavo had an NFC that I don't think most of those guys played with a monitor turned on. So I think he's at a big disadvantage. He doesn't have the team. He doesn't have the ability, and he doesn't have. There's no weak. I don't think he's gonna get through the AFC again. I think QP's better. I think you're better, Dan. I think Bomber has built this team into a juggernaut that's going to be a juggernaut for the rest of the year cycle. I don't see it. But I think that what I like about Raider fan is it's new blood that is putting his name in the we kind of thought we were going to get this with KP. But he's kind of fizzled out. But I think Raider fan's going to have a very good cycle where he's a legitimate contender in the AFC. I think he's going to be a lot like me. I think he's going to be the little guy until he's not. And I don't know, with Dan's team and Bomber's team and QP's team and the Lions over there, I don't know how he's going to do it. I just don't know how he's going to do it.
Yeah, I look at a guy like Raider fan, and the cool thing about him, and I think what benefits him some, is he does commentate a lot of playoff games. And one thing that does, obviously, besides giving you an evaluation boost and pick top 10 in the draft, means you're going to see a lot of the best players' tendencies, and you're going to be smart because of it. And I think he's a very analytical guy. He obviously is good at video games in general. He had a Mario Kart YouTube channel, 10,000 subs. He does iRacing. I mean, the guy's a competitor, and he's kind of humble, and he doesn't pound his chest, but he just goes to work and does his thing. He plays a little bit of mat ball, in my opinion. But it's like a crossbreed between mat ball and a little more, shotgun runs, stuff like that. So he does a little bit more. There's more, I guess, just modernized diversity to it. I think he's legit. I think he's a legit player. I think him and Tug are legit players. And that's why when I had talked about Q earlier, I'm like, hey, Q's actually got a tough division here. I think that we could see Raider fan in another Super Bowl this season. And I think he'll play a lot better in that game. Man, this dude had a Cinderella run and had a heck of a run, and he almost pulled it off. So I'm looking forward to what he's got in the future. And I don't think he's a fluke at all. And that style of running the ball, taking checkdowns, playing good defense, we all know it, guys. That's a style that lasts not one cycle, but many. Third down. Moving on here. Spam. That was kind of a big deal on our show. Or I guess in the SML chat. Tight ends catching a bunch of passes. Wide receivers for Doink catching a lot of passes, whatever the case may be. What's your guys' thoughts on the whole situation there? And Matt, we'll start with you. Yeah,
I think, first off, I don't think we can ever just look at a box score and assume that the story's being told by that box score, okay? And also to elaborate on that, there is a big onus on the defenses in those situations. Because, so for instance, I'll speak on one of them because I was in it. The first time I played Mike, he would go single high safety, and he would bring his safety, like as soon as the ball was snapped, he'd sprint to the line, thinking I was just going to throw a drag or something quick. And A.J. Brown was just cooking his corner. I had 3 catches, like 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. I threw the ball to A.J., he was gone. Threw it to A.J., gone, 70 yards a pop, okay? Now, I probably could have done that most of the game. Mike was not adjusting, but it was a blowout. And at that point, it was like, well, I'm not just going to force feed AJ and get him 300-400 yards. So there's a little bit of onus. I didn't feel sorry for Mike that I kept throwing to AJ Brown 3 times for 200 and some yards and 3 touchdowns because he was allowing it. You keep doing that. I'm not going to change. But I do think that, especially in a blowout, you need to police yourself a little bit. And you need to be cognizant of not just throwing to the same guy over and over. Maybe just pretend he doesn't exist, or if you can't do that, sub him out of the game. But I think spam is pretty clear, and we've got a rule for it season wide. We have that rule against the computer. And I think we can address those on a case by case basis. And again, there is a full story. But one thing I really want to hammer home, there is a responsibility on the defense, because some guys, they just they get down big, and they just start doing stupid stuff, pulling guys off or running a guy out of the play or zero blitzing. Look, guys, you can't expect your opponent to just not try because you're just doing this stupid stuff. So if you're in a blowout and you're on defense, just play the game, man. Nobody wants to be there. Your opponent doesn't. You don't. But just play the game, dude. Don't put people in weird positions. Don't make it look funny. Just play the game.
Yeah, I think Matt hit on 2 of my 3 points with this. I just want to kind of say too is because I was just involved in that game against Fig and had a bad box score. We do have to police yourself. I was wrong. I should have taken my tight end out maybe early third quarter. I took him out fourth quarter, just because it was just so obvious that again part of that defense that Figs was playing was just letting the tight end just cook them over and over again, and I should have put a backup in. So we do have to police ourselves. I think that's on everybody. I do think the defense is responsible. The engage 8, the zero blitz, running a fake punt on 4th and 14. Like it's just you're just adding on to all this stuff, and then you're forcing the other guy to play a different unsim kind of thing by running out of bounds or doing other stuff. So just play the game, like Matt said. The third point I want to bring up too, though, is I think there's a big difference when we're talking about guys, and I'll just use Matt as the example. AJ Brown. AJ Brown is not going to dev. He's already an X factor. He's already old. That's not a first, second, third year guy. I think if you are talking about first, second, third year guys and you see high scores, naturally we're going to go to the spam because of year end devs and other things. So I think if you're talking about what is spam, look at these young guys and look at somebody that's trying to purposely get to them awards in an unrealistic way.
Yeah, that's good. And I'll just be direct here. When I first looked at Dan's situation, my first reaction was, oh man, we need to suspend this guy's tight end. And then I looked at it more and I was like, okay, he's a 78 overall, mid to late 20s tight end, and a position that doesn't develop really hardly at all after the first 2 years. And then I looked at the game tape that Fig had done, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I can actually empathize with that because I have criticism of me in a game against the Packers where I threw more zigs than maybe some people thought I should have. And I felt I was taking what the defense gave me. And I think there's a little bit of self-police that can go there. And I was open about it on many shows. Hey, maybe I should throw more flat routes instead, or maybe I should have thrown more little bubble screens or something, and not all zigs, or whatever the case is. And to Dan's point, he could have pulled the tight end in the third quarter when he knew the game was over. But oftentimes when a situation happens like that, it can be on both sides of the party. Now, I will say this, when it comes to spam, I like that we have a season long rule. It would be nice if we had that black and white game rule, but I've thought about it and I've crunched my head on it, and I just don't think it's possible. The issue with that for me from a commissioner's perspective is our degenerate window licking members who think that we pick favorites. When we do issue a suspension on that, they'll think we're picking favorites, but that's not the case. I wish that as a league, we just try to have high integrity in all that we do. And I hope that we have members that mean well and do well. Sometimes I'll watch games and I'll think, oh man, like Johnny, I love Johnny, but his Johnny, your defense can't be that bad. Are you just letting guys score 50 points for your rookie receiver so he's 99 overall? I don't know. I don't know. It's stuff I look at. There's stuff I look at all the time that I keep quiet on, but we'll see. We'll see. Somebody spread the love.
Sorry, I was on mute. I wanted to add to your point, Prime, and I do appreciate you having that flexibility, because I do think situations over and over that repeat themselves demand more issues to look at. So again, we've got some running backs that are averaging 10 yards a carry that are getting routinely over 200 yards a game.
Right.
And it's like, okay, is that a different form of just spamming too? So I think all of us need to look at that. For myself, like, again, knowing that I just had that with my tight end, I'll purposely bench my tight end. I'll purposely not throw to my tight end. I looked at my numbers, and they're not good. So I want to self-correct that before I have to have the league correct that. And so I think the league needs to just constantly having that. But the last point I want to say is on defense, again, if you are giving up that much running, if you're giving up that much passing, do something different. Like, just change. Like, call, if you're getting toasted deep, call cover 4, call cover 3 over the top. If you're getting beat over the middle, stop using the safety. If you're getting run on, sit in a 4-3 or a 4-6, or just look for help. Like, don't just keep being the same guy that just keeps getting toasted over and over again.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'll say this quickly. Like, even if it's not calling different plays, just maybe you use her one guy all game, just use her a different guy. Like, promise yourself, I'm not going to use her the guy that's the deep blue zone anymore. I'm going to use her the guy that's just the yellow hook zone in the middle. And that's it. That's what I'm always going to do. And that way, that at least if whether or not the computer gets the animation or not, there's going to be a body there to, and maybe the goofy animation happens, but you're not going to have a broken coverage 80-yard touchdown. So,
yep.
Dan, you're spreading your love on someone?
Yeah, I'm going to spread my love on Woods.
Wow.
I made a statement earlier this week after we played. Matt kind of laughed at me, or I think Bomber said, wait till the end of the score. But man, the way that Woods played the first half against me, I was really impressed. I had given him some advice, which I'll give to the whole league right now. Some of you are coming out in formations, and I know exactly what you're running because that's the only thing you run out of that formation, or that's what everyone runs out of that formation. So, a lot of times, when I see a certain single back formation, I know you're running a boot. When I see an I form close, I know you're either going to run a play action or you're running a stretch. Just change some things up. Like, don't do that. And Woods did that. He changed it up and he marched down the field twice on me on the first half. Now he couldn't sustain it, and it didn't happen in the second half. But then the following game, he goes out and beats Straw. And gets a big W against Stroud. So I think Woods is loading up for a Woods season. I don't know if it's going to be this one. I don't know if he's going to make the playoffs, but watch him out for next season. Woods is on the rise.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm going to spread my love on Woods too, but for a different reason. You're cooked, buddy. It's over.
Oh.
I'm also gonna spread my love on Dan. I think a lot of, and I know Prime, you can probably echo this the most, being the commissioner, but taking ownership of things. You don't always see that. We're all men, testosterone. Sometimes it's put out in public. You get defensive, but I think Dan taking ownership of the situation with this tight end. And saying I should have done this, would have been a better. I think that's great. No one's saying kick Dan, suspend Dan, boot, or even to doink. But I think that accountability is very, very good, and I think it's a good example for a lot of guys. I'll touch on Raider fan real quick. I wanted to make sure I talked about this again. I think his acceptance of something that was completely out of everybody's control, obviously not Straw's fault, not your fault. I think that's really admirable, but also not nice. Look, this guy's got a very interesting style when it comes to, what do they say? F them picks. He doesn't care. He trades them all away, and normally not even for good things. But hey, he just came out and beat Stavo 27-24. He's sitting at 3-7. That was win number 3. And then he comes out and he battles undefeated Soda down to the last second. I think it was a game-winning field goal that Soda hit when they were tied. So I think Not Nice is making strides. I'm going to talk about this in a second, but yeah, his style of building his team is a little bit different, but it's consistent, and he's got him up to an 87 overall. He's making improvements. So shout out to Not Nice.
That's good, Matt. I appreciate that. And I guess before I spread the love, I do want to say regarding the Dan thing you had mentioned, and there's a couple other guys in this league that usually when a thing comes up or I talk to them in private about an issue they have, that ownership, if we have a core value in the SML, just for me, it would have to be, hey, you have to have grace for other people. If they make a mistake, have grace, because at some point you're going to do something stupid. And secondly, when you're that guy doing something stupid, I don't want to hear the excuse, whether you agree or disagree. look at the issue and know that I myself, Prime, and probably four other people have looked at that exact same issue, and we've deemed that it's an issue. So you can take what you can out of that and try to be better. And if you don't argue it, oftentimes you either won't get suspended, or if you do get suspended, I'll forget about it like the next day and it's fine and it's moved on, and we'll have grace for that. It's the people who have to argue or create some sort of weird like point at others that I take issue with. And that could be gameplay wise, that could be bigger issues in the league, longer issues, deeper rooted issues. Like if you just own your mistakes and you tell me with an honest heart, like, hey man, I'll be honest, I love the SML. It's a great league. You guys you do all this stuff. I'm just a competitive person, and I let my competitive juices get the best of me. You know what? That's fine. You're a person. We're all people, and we're all going to make mistakes. And I'll actually respect that more than some sort of BS lie or whatever the case is. Like if you just tell the truth, like I think that needs to be, if we're going to be successful as a league, and if there's certain members here like that are doing these things, like if you're going to last, that's what I want. That is what I want. I promise. Like it'll be forgiven, wiped clean. That said, I do want to spread my love on a couple guys. Tiny 6-4 in the playoff hunt, number 4 seed. AJ has been struggling on and off. He is 4-5. I still think he can win a playoff game if he keeps fighting. On the AFC side of things, QP, number 6 seed, he's fighting with Tug, who's a 7 seed. I know KP's fighting Meats, Woods, or Fur for all, just in the thick of things right now. It's just a time where it seems like you're going to either gain footing or you're not. And I'm just pulling for a lot of these guys. I'm excited for how that's going to shake out. Soda is 10-0. That's really cool. He's obviously kind of like my little brother in this league. He can't ever get past me. He's lost to me 3 times already this cycle. And he's having an undefeated season, but he's right behind Prime in the rankings still. What a shame that is. But, I'm spreading my love to him as well. That's all I've got, guys. Matt, what's your 5?
Yeah, we're going to go in the spirit of the new year. We're going to go with my 5 New Year's resolutions for the entire league.
Wow.
This isn't directed at anybody in particular. At number 5, develop an identity. A lot of you guys go into a game and I feel like you just go with the flow and whatever happens, and that will kind of lead into number 4. But develop an identity. All the elite players have an identity. Now it's not don't get into the position where Dan just gave you a spoiler alert that he knows what you're going to do based on the formation. Don't develop that kind of identity, but develop what you're good at, what you're not. Find out what you're not good at, and build a game plan around that. Are you better at using the strong side linebacker or the weak side linebacker? Or are you a safety guy? Or do you want to try the nickel corner? Find out what you're good at and develop that identity so that when you go into every game, you can repeat it over and over and over. And if it doesn't work, maybe develop another one. But you need to know what you're good at and what you're not, and not try to be something you're not. Number 4, don't unravel. So many times I watch a guy down 14-0, all of a sudden he's empty you can't score 14 points in one play. If you're down 14-0, that 3-yard run on first down, there's nothing wrong with that. 2nd and 7 is a good place to be because 2nd and 7 can turn into 3rd and 3. If it's 3rd and 20, don't go empty or 4 wide receivers and throw a stupid interception. Now your opponent's in field goal range. Run the ball. A punt's really not a bad thing. A lot of you guys that get blown out, really, if you just didn't unravel and you just stuck to that identity of I'm still going to run the ball and 3 yards isn't a bad idea because it's only the first or second quarter, you'd be a lot better off. At number 3, take a deep breath after a game / walk away after a game. It's very easy to get emotional after games, especially ones you lose, obviously. But take a deep breath, whether that's a walk around the house, talk to the wife, whatever, go for a walk, or just get out of Discord for an hour or maybe a day and then come back and look at it. I think sometimes animosity towards your opponent can be solved with just taking some time away from the game or away from chat, not saying something you wish you wouldn't have said. Schedule proactively and equally. I think it's very important. Your time is not more important than mine. I try to make sure that my opponents always know that, hey, this is my availability. I totally understand that it's a little tight. I'm going to try and make it work. If not, it's your forced win. Or, hey, I'm free after 9:30. Oh, man, I could do 9:15. Okay, let's squeeze it in a 9:15. It doesn't have to be so rigid. And then proactively, look, Bomber does a really good job of posting the game times. You don't have to wait till advance to talk to your opponent. You know who you play. It's easy to find out. You know when advance is or should be. You could proactively get those talks going, even if you don't have it scheduled. And number one, and this kind of goes to don't unravel. God, stop breaking ratio, guys. Look, I know this game. Passing is fun. It's flashy. This is a Madden that caters to passing because there's no defense, there's no pass rush. You can just sit back there forever. But man, the ratio is so lenient. It amazes me how many guys break it. And if you're speaking of the spam topic, if you're down 30 points with 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, run the ball. I don't want to hear this. Oh, I was down 30 points. I had to pass. If you're down 30 points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, it's over. Run the ball. Let's go home. That you don't need. There's no just because you're down 30 doesn't mean you have to pass. So I would love to see fewer ratio breaks in 2026.
That's good, Matt. That's a good list.
That's good. I want to add one to that. I'll just say try to get better. You got plenty of guys in the SML, which is I love is they're open to share. They're wanting to help you get better. You might not want to talk to five guys because they might have five different opinions, but find one person you trust and just be like, hey man, look at my game, look at what I'm doing, and how can I get better? There might be something little you can do, and if you just add something every season, by season 4 or 5, you might be flipping the switch, and not picking first every draft, and you might actually win some games. So just try to get better. I would love to see that in 26.
Yeah, and I guess mine is NFC. Just accept your fate. Matt's the only guy in the conference that's beat me in the playoffs. None of you guys come close, honestly. It's kind of embarrassing, but it's cool. Just accept your fate. It's fine. Like, he lost to the 28-time champ in the playoffs. You're going to keep losing to me. Happy New Year.
Man, Prime, I don't want to, pump you up, but I think you might be right on that. That might be a true narrative. You might have already cooked the NFC.
It's crazy.
You might have cooked it.
It's sad, actually. Somebody, give me a fight.
Dumps never beat you in the playoffs?
Never. Mm-mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Happy New Year, NFC. You guys suck.